All right. Hey, everybody. This is Leslie.
And Des.
And we're here with Kimberly McGuiness. And we're just so excited to tell you about her in her own words.
Take it away, Kimberly.
Yeah, we're getting ready for camp here, and we're so excited. Kimberly is going to be teaching a super cool workshop at our upcoming JOYfilled Arts and Crafts Summer Camp, July 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. And yeah, we're so excited. So Kimberly, you look like you're in your awesome studio.
I am. I was going to give you guys a quick tour. Hopefully, let me see if I can turn this around. I don't see where oh, wait. Yes, there we go. Okay.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so let me take you to the entrance. That's the best view. So this is the entrance coming in from my dining room.
I love this.
The door, and this is for sure my happy place.
How could it not be?
Exactly. Yeah. My altar with things that are special to me, different crystals and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Artwork up on the walls.
Oh, I love those faces.
Yeah.
Those are part of my circus series. I love the circus. I always loved the circus when I was a kid, and love clowns. I know people are afraid of clowns. So I think it's because of the makeup, and they don't understand or see the real person behind the makeup. So I'm trying to figure all that out, but I have had, this one here is called the Mad Hatter.
The colors are so fabulous.
Yeah, I'll give you a close-up. You can see it's kind of shimmery.
Yeah. So when you're doing something like that, Kimberly, are you is that like acrylic with doing like maybe a paint pen kind of for the detailing, or what's kind of what's your
the process for a canvas like this with like the Mad Hatter? I do the background first, like all the blue that's kind of up there on the top, and some of it you can see here.
Yeah.
I do all the background work first with inks, liquid inks and stuff like that, Bombay inks and everything, and water. Let that dry, and then I go and I spray that first background layer with a Rust-Oleum clear coat. It's a gloss clear coat, because if you don't spray it when you add acrylic or anything on top of the ink, it will bleed and move and reactivate again, and I didn't want it to do that. So when I use the inks in the background, that's the process for that. Then my next tool of choice is a piece of chalk, and then I just go over and draw it out on the canvas. And that way I can smudge off lines that I don't like, but usually just kind of get like a rough draft. And then once that's done, then I go in with black ink, and then ink out the lines, and then just kind of go from there. And sometimes the piece changes and sometimes it doesn't. It just depends. But yeah, I'm always amazed at the direction that the piece ends up being, that it ends up going into. And these are some more pieces that I've done.
Yeah, the colors are so fabulous. I love what you just said about how sometimes it goes in its own direction, and I think art is like that. It's sort of it's a living, breathing thing as you're creating. You might start in one direction and it sort of takes on a life of its own, and you're just sort of following behind where it's going, doing the necessary adjustments.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, so I love my studio, and I love experimenting with different things and stuff like that. These little pieces right here are little 3x5 flat canvas panels, And yesterday I just got a notion. I had all these napkins and everything. I'm like, oh, what can I do with those? And I had these I needed to use. So I just put the napkins on there using clear gesso, and just went back with some molding paste and put texture on there and everything. So now they're just kind of sitting, waiting to figure, I'm waiting to figure out what I'm going to do with them next. But, you
Oh, I
know,
love that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you used, there were little tiny, like canvas pieces that you started
Mhm.
with and just like had them
Yeah.
already cut, you cut them up and then just did the napkin and the gesso. That is so cool. I love that.
Yeah, yeah, the canvases are come this size. You can find them at like Hobby Lobby and different kind of
Okay.
places and stuff like that. Um, Here's one that's still wrapped. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really small, really
Oh, how
small.
fun. That's like,
Yeah,
it'd be fun to just do like even like a little wall of those or,
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
a shadow box kind of thing and maybe
mhm,
um, hanging some
yeah,
other things in there. I mean, there's so many things that you can, do. Like I think the idea of creating art isn't always about like I've got to, I have to have all the supplies and have a
mhm,
studio and all these things because you
yeah,
don't. Like
yeah,
you can start with some pretty basic things and
yeah,
it doesn't require too much and then it like kind of gets your it gets the juices going and your
yeah,
creativity for wanting to
mhm,
try more. And I think
yeah,
that's the thing sometimes is people feeling a little stuck. Like, I don't even
mhm,
know how to, how do I start?
yeah,
Like, I want to create
yeah,
something, but how do I start? It can be
yeah,
like intimidating. And I think as
exactly.
someone like yourself that's been creating art for many, many years and as I have as well, it's you forget sometimes that people that aren't regularly have their fingers in paint or holding a brush or doing something that
Yeah,
there's like a kind of can be a
yeah,
level of intimidation. But it's
for
like
sure.
once you get
Yeah,
over the hump,
yeah,
it really kind of opens
yeah,
up. And that's one
yeah.
thing like with camp, we're really excited about is being able to, expose people to the different options that are out there and really
Mhm.
allow people that have maybe never, you know, never created art or someone used a term the other day. They said she said her husband was a serial hobbyist. The people that like I want to do this and they start collecting things and you got like a
Yeah,
drawer or a closet full of supplies but you've never started because you don't know where to begin. And that's where
exactly.
we want to
Yeah.
give people the chance to like
Mhm.
to really exercise their ability to create and use those fun things. And you
Yeah.
like have this amazing studio and workshop filled with everything. Like you could show people so many different things.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot in here. But first and foremost, my artwork is my therapy because, as you know, Julia is living with deafness and autism, and she's 32, believe it or not, and she lives at home. I still can't get my mind wrapped around that, of her age because she doesn't look like a day over 20.
Wow.
But her love, on the days that things are really good, she's got such a love and infectious spirit, and we do some things together, pillows and different kinds of things like that. She likes working with scrap fabric and yarn and just all kinds of stuff. But so I've created pieces that were so full of energy that I needed to release, that I ended up burning them because it was so heavy that I couldn't have it in the house. And I needed to I did my own art therapy. And I think that's what people forget too. Even with coloring, I love coloring. Crayons, the smell of Crayola crayons is like, to me, better than chocolate pudding. But even with just crayons and coloring, even if you don't have anything that a coloring book, but just taking them out and just playing on paper, and scratching and rubbing and stuff like that. Color, for me, I've learned, evokes emotion and release and just different kinds of stuff. And I'm so grateful and blessed to have the opportunity and the space to let that out, let that energy out, because if not, I'd be bouncing off the walls with her daily challenges, and I've had people say, well, can you do this? I'm like, no, I can't do that, because every time she needs to communicate. I have to stop what I'm doing because I communicate with her with my hands. I create with my hands. So the process takes a little bit longer. And again, on the days that things are running right, she's doing her thing, I'm doing mine, and we meet in the middle and everything's happy. But on the days that she's not, it's very challenging. So, but I love being able to have the space and the time and the freedom of choice to be able to do this. It is just truly a blessing, and being able to express what my soul wants to get out onto canvas and having it come from here to canvas. I mean, I think artists put everything that they have, you know, their heart and a piece of themselves into everything they create. You know, it's amazing. It's simply amazing. And when I create a piece, sometimes I'll step back and I'll go, wow, that is not where I thought that was going to end up.
Yeah, it's interesting that, you know, like you said, you know, as this has started maybe as a form of therapy for you and for Julia to like be able to communicate with each other. I mean, I think that is like an amazing blessing that you discovered. And I'm curious, is this something did you start doing art after you had her, or how did you come to that connection of being able to communicate through art, and really to be able to and yourself to kind of have, you know, use it as therapy for you to be able to let your emotions out?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've always been creative and I've always loved art. I went through my school years, you know, anything that pertained to art, like home economics. You know, it's not really art, it's more crafty, where they teach you a little bit about embroidering and cooking and things like that. But I've always loved creating, I guess, stories or things, you know, paintings, pictures, or whatever. Loved coloring. I remember winning a coloring contest when I was in second grade, and the teacher, asking the teacher, I'm like, why did I win? And she says, because when you colored in all the same direction. And that really resonated with me and still does today. And I find myself going back to that when I'm painting sometimes with brush strokes or with colored pencils. I go in the same direction. It's just really odd. But I've always been like that and always have had a love for art. It doesn't run in my family, so I have no idea where that is in the genealogy. But I pursued it through my high school years and everything, and then a little afterwards. And then after she was born in 1988, then things just came to an abrupt halt. And then I really started getting back into it in 2008, when I started with my art journaling, you know, with just writing words that I would come across that meant something to me, and then doing using crayons or pencils in my journal to illustrate or just put out, you know, kind of what I felt like intuitively, you know, I needed to. And all of that has kind of progressed, and has led up to where I am, you know, now. And every year I find myself a little further along than I was the year before, as far as my abilities and creating and things like that. And with Julia, she's always been interested in things and creative too, but her dexterity, it's difficult for her. For example, she just finished a butterfly latch hook, and it's taken her months to do it. You know, we did those as kids and I couldn't wait to get it finished, but for her, the dexterity is difficult. So it's taken her a while, but she was so proud, you know, and I'm proud of her for sticking with it. I'm constantly encouraging her. You know, she'll come up with ideas or different things that she wants to try, and we'll try them out. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. If there's something that she wants to do or we'll talk about doing, I'll do it and then see where the pitfalls are, as far as, okay, where am I struggling with it? And how can I make it to where it's easier for her, where she doesn't struggle with it? You know, the little journals that we make, you know, I've made her a jig so that she puts the mat board, you know, where it needs to go, and tapes across it, and it allows her to do that particular task independently. So that's the whole goal, is for her to be able to be creative, but to be able to be independent and have a sense of worth, you know, herself. And with the way that she designs, the covers of the little journals and different kinds of things. And I tell her it doesn't matter, it's just whatever you want. And so with all of that, she's really blossomed in the past year. I think that's the one good thing that I could say about COVID is that with us being locked down and in home, we had the opportunity and the chance to really come into that, and it all started with a pillow that she wanted to make from some cat fabric that we had, so and there are days that she will just create, and we're both in here doing stuff together. And then there are days that she don't have nothing to do with anything. And I think that's typical of all of us, actually.
Sure. I think, well, I think there's a raccoon back there. Obi, come here. That is like, I'm super moved by your story. I think that is like, it's so powerful. And it sounds like what you've been able to create for her, and allowing, just your ability to see and figure out ways to better increase her independence, and allowing the art to, really have her, give her a sense of that autonomy, and being able to, be her own person and be independent. I think that is just really beautiful. I was wondering, I was thinking when you were talking about the clowns, I was looking on the wall behind you at all the amazing artwork, and that you have, and I was noticing that there's like the mask. There look like there's a couple masks, one to my right, I guess it's to your left, that is kind of above your shelf, that looks kind of colorful, and then there's another one that's kind of above your head. I don't know if it's maybe like it's like a mask with legs in my screen. It's like or maybe a bird. But I was wondering, it's just kind of, it got me thinking a little bit about clowns. You said how, some people find them scary, but a lot of times the makeup or the clown is kind of, that is also a mask, and how, we really all sort of have these masks, that we all wear to sort of either to protect us, or to show a different version of ourselves. And I can't help but, like, I'm being drawn by what you were saying, if that, it kind of feels like a little bit of your story.
It is. Yeah, it is. It's about, I've actually written in my journal the title Unmasked, because it's so, and obviously there's more to her, mine and her story, but being vulnerable in that, and being willing to unmask ourselves and get it out, however we choose to do that we're comfortable with, it's a scary thing. It's because people are so judgmental, or can be so judgmental, I should say. And they're quick to make an assumption when they don't know the story. They don't know the backstory. They sometimes, I think we can tend to judge a book by its cover before we read what's on the inside. So, so for me, I think the clowns, the circus series is just, again, an unmasking, because each one of them, when I look at them, there is a piece of me that's in those, physically, from deep within, but they bring me such great joy, but again, the unmasking of our emotions and our vulnerability and our journey and our story is, it's a frightening thing. And I think for me, I've learned to work through all that darkness through art, and it has helped tremendously. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just so blessed to be able to have the choice to be able to do this, and to do it with Julia. And the relationship that she and I have is just so deeply rooted beyond mother-daughter. I just can't explain it.
It's really, I'm so glad that we've had this opportunity.
Yeah.
We've kind of we've done some things before. We were in the artist market together, and I follow you. I follow you on social media, so I get to see what you're up to, and I
Yeah.
get to see the things that Julia's working on. I really liked her the tie dye series
Yes.
a couple months
Oh
ago.
my, yes, yes.
And it's just so nice to be able to to have this where we can sort of
Mhm.
it's kind of like being in the same room across
Yeah,
the country from one another.
yeah,
But it's
yeah.
just your story is super moving, and your art is fabulous. I love just how it is so it's really it's it's life. I mean, there are some
Mhm.
things that people might have jobs or careers.
Yep.
I feel like art is, whether it's as a hobby or is actually your profession, your career,
Mhm.
it is really like it's kind of like religion in a way that
Yeah,
it's there. It doesn't go away. It's
absolutely.
not 9 to 5. It totally encompasses
Yeah,
really everything you
yeah,
do and how you look at things. And
yeah.
just
It's
being able to
24/7. Yeah.
encourage people to be able to see
Mhm.
things a different way, even if
Yeah.
maybe people, not everyone is wanting to jump off the diving board to become a full-time artist, because it definitely
Yeah.
has its challenges also.
For
But
sure, for
just
sure.
having
Yeah.
that to play and to really to use art, like you were saying, as it can be such a form of sort of therapy and discovery of
Mhm.
kind of working through things you may have going on in your life, or your
Mhm.
emotions, whether they're emotions of anxiety or fear or stress, but like joy and happiness too. It's
Yep.
like all it's just a way of just letting those things out. And I'm just
Absolutely.
so loving your
Yeah.
story and being able to
Yeah.
chat with you, and really
Well,
appreciative
thank
of
you.
your
Yeah.
time.
So
Timeless.
I appreciate the opportunity. And another thing too is there's a lot that I've done that I don't show, and I think sometimes we think that we have to have that validation. Oh, I need to do this and get it out there to be validated. Just the fact that we're here having this conversation, we're validated. Just doing it and getting it out. There's a lot of stuff that's for your eyes only, and that can be, I think sometimes people think that, oh, I got to do this and get it out there. I got to do this and get it out there, but social media can suck us in that way. But I think we have to remember to stay grounded and do what makes us, feel comfortable doing and sharing. And it's okay if we don't, it's okay if we don't, because we're doing it for ourselves first.
Definitely. I think, like, and even you had kind of said that too, like when you started, with sort of an art journal, is writing words down. And it's just like the idea, you know, journaling itself is not necessarily for anyone, but for you.
Hmm.
So the idea art can be like that too. I mean, there's certain things that that you share, but there's still things that are really meant, they're just
Yeah.
for you. They're for you to
Yeah.
reflect on. And
Yeah.
like you said, it's a piece of you that comes out. And as you were talking about how you've had some things that were super emotional that came out when you were creating that it was so heavy, you couldn't have it around, that you needed to burn it.
Hmm.
Like that, I think that is that right there is super validating as well, to know
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
it is a way to be, it doesn't all, it's not all pretty. Art isn't meant
Right.
to just be something that's
Yeah.
pretty. It's very
Yeah.
emotional, and some of
It
it can
is.
be just for you. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be. And I think, when people are just getting started, they're worried, I don't know if it's going to look good or whatever. And that's, that's not the thing. It's just kind of like with life,
Hmm.
the life is all about the journey of wherever you're headed.
Hmm.
And I think art and creating can be very much the same thing. It's the process, it's the journey. It's not always what you end up with. It's all the things that you've poured out along the way.
Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, parents who have children with disabilities, they handle it in their own way. And I'm very grateful for Julia. I mean, deafness and autism are significant enough on their own, but when you have the two of them married together, it's completely different scenario. I'm grateful for Julia and the challenges that she has, because when I look at other people who have children that are more medically fragile or more severely challenged, all I can do is pray for those parents, because I don't see how they do what they do. And there are people that probably look at me and say, I don't see how you do what you do. But we do what we do because we just do it, you know. I mean, it's you become accustomed to it, you evolve and things like that, and you just keep moving along and tweaking and fixing and trying to figure it all out, you know.
Well, it sounds like too, there's a little bit of just, even just surrendering to the process.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
in itself is like really huge too, to be able to get to that point,
Yeah.
to know that sometimes
Exactly.
the best way to get through something is to just surrender it and, trust in the process of like,
Yeah.
we were talking about this the other day. It's kind of like the things you really need to know, or the what and the why, and surrender the how.
Yeah. Yeah. That is
So,
true. That is true.
hey, so do you have, so like I was saying, we're super excited about having you at camp. Yay!
Yay.
But I know you're doing artist trading cards. Do you have a little sample of what those are going to look like, or how that's
Yeah.
happening?
So here's what I submitted, what I sent in, and this is a sari ribbon. Julia likes working with this too. And this is like a folio. It's a 4x6 piece of paper. And then I love working with vintage music. Vintage music is just my all-time thing. I'm like almost a hoarder of vintage music. If people have music from churches or anything that they're getting rid of, they call me first.
That's good to know. I'll keep that in mind. I'm sort of, well, I'm not going to call myself a hoarder, but my husband might think that I could be, I have to look at everything about 5 times and say, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I could make something with this.
Exactly.
I could throw this away. I could do something with this. I don't know what it is, and I don't know when it's going to happen. Those
totally agree.
Yeah,
totally
those old
agree.
nautical charts I've had in my basement for 20 years. I'm really going to get to them eventually.
Well, maybe we could do a swap, some maps for some music.
Yeah.
They're just playing cards. Just playing cards. And we just cover with paper, different kinds of paper, or however you want to do it.
Love it.
Yeah. This one is a flower from a magazine, and then I added added some ink on top of it and some words and stuff like that. And then this is the card that I put on the back of it, because artist trading cards, you have the information on there. I've done artist trading card swaps before, and those are a lot of fun, especially if you're doing an international swap, because you get so many cool things from different parts of the country. And to me, that's how I travel. I've got friends in Australia, Greece. I did a swap with someone in Iceland, Alaska, Africa, just different, Paris, France, Europe, and stuff like that. But the outside of the folio has a little pocket where you could tuck stuff in. And then on the inside, it has 2 little pockets where you could put, a card there and a card there, and then fold it up. And these make nice little things that you can do or add to journals and stuff like that if you make homemade journals. But you can just use whatever you have. Even a brown paper bag, you could use a brown paper bag, just stuff you got around the house to make things like that.
Oh my gosh, that just like really gets me excited about, I'm just so excited for camp. I'm excited to like, what I want to say is like, I'm so excited to take your class. And I think, I'm going to take all these classes when I'm not teaching my workshop. And then I realized that's probably unrealistic, because I'm probably going to do other things. But that's like the beauty of it, is that, 3 days we're going to have, there's 3 3 live sessions each of the 3 days. So it's like people get to choose from not choose 9 live workshops to attend, but we'll have access to all 30 after camp. So I will be ready to dive into everyone's workshop after camp. So I'm going to be like binging. I'm going to be binging everybody's classes.
I love watching other artists create, because there's always something in there that I can learn. We don't know everything and stuff like that. And so it's nice to see other people create and then pick a little tidbit up, here and there, and try it and see if it flows, with my style of work. And sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't, but at least I can say, hey, I tried it.
Awesome. Well, this has been like so lovely. Do you want to share where people can find you? Like your website, your social media, have anything besides camp coming up that you want to let people know about?
Yeah, I'm on KimberlyMcGuiness.com, and they can find me there. It's where my shop is. It's where Julia's got some artwork in the shop for sale, and I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I have a Vimeo channel, but you can get to all those at the bottom of my website. I'm on Pinterest, stuff like that. And then the end of July, actually the same time that we're doing the camp, I'm also going to be in an online auction selling some of my fabric journals. So I'm excited about that too. So it's going to be kind of working both sides of the fence kind of thing.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. Well, that's all part of it, being
Gotta keep the pipeline full.
Full-time artist has these sort of hustling on a regular basis.
Yeah, for sure.
And well, do you have anything you want to add, since I've pretty much monopolized the whole interview?
I think we covered it.
Yeah. This has been so fun, you guys. It's been great.
Oh yeah, no, we really enjoyed it. And it's just like so great to connect with you. I find that, like you said, there are a lot of pretty amazing things that have actually come out of COVID. And I think it's people's ability to adapt to, being online, doing things like this, like via Zoom or, FaceTime, whatever it is that you're using, because there is a sense of like connection. And I couldn't imagine having gone through the past year without having this tool. And I really don't think that online things are going to go away after this. It's become such
I don't think so either.
And it's like you were saying, like your artist trading cards, it's like you could travel all over the world and see and talk and visit with people. The connection we have now is so, it's so far reaching. And I just think that is truly, it is really kind of a blessing. I mean, we definitely probably are over screen timed a lot, but it's times like this where you can sit, and I don't think of it as being screen time, or when I'm learning something or creating or doing something fun, it's not necessarily screen time. As I'm saying this, I'm probably thinking this is what kids say to their parents when they tell them just play games. They're like, what? It's not like screen time, it's fun. But there is a certain sense of this that feels more real and in person, like we're really have this connection and being able to share you with more people and all the amazing things that you're doing and have to offer. And I'm just really thankful.
Well, thank you. Well, you know what I like about this is the fact that it makes the intangible tangible in a sense, because we have that connection, now that we see each other online and stuff like that, but you feel more connected when you actually have a conversation. I mean, this is what the world's gone to now, is video conferencing or whatever. But you feel like you're better connected now.
Definitely, definitely.
People.
Well,
Yeah,
Kimberly,
yeah.
thank you so much for spending this time with us. We really appreciate you. We appreciate you being part of our artist market. We appreciate you being part of summer camp and just part of our community and our family, and looking forward to all the things that we can continue doing together and
Yeah.
in the future. So
Okay. Well, great. Thank you so much.
thank
And
you.
have a great rest of your day, and we'll
All
see
right.
you soon.
Well, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.